As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at zero. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to episode 108 of Zero to Hero, presented by J29 Creative Group. We've got another killer guest coming to you today. His name is Blake Jennings. He is the owner of B&KJ Rentals out of Blue Springs. So let's go ahead and bring him in. Blake, how are you today, buddy?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Glad to be here and kind of tell my story.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So before we even really get into it, what is B&KJ Rentals?
Yeah, so we are a private auto rental group here in Missouri, in Blue Springs, but we deliver all over. So depending on how much you want to pay, we'll deliver anywhere and everywhere. So yeah, we're a car rental group, and we're looking to grow. We've got 15 cars in our rental car lineup, and we'd like to get that to 30 by the end of the year is my goal. So
That's awesome. Yeah, you guys have been expanding pretty rapidly. I've seen on social media, I think we went from 5 to 8, and now we're at 15 pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So how did you come up with the idea? I mean, obviously, car rental has changed pretty dramatically in the last few years with like Turos and stuff like that coming out. So what really sparked you to get this thing started and take off with it?
Yeah, so I've always kind of had like that entrepreneur mindset. I got in sales in my mid 20s, and I was selling cars. I never, that 9 to 5 job, working for $20 an hour, so that has just never been me. That's just not how I'm programmed and wired. So I've sold cars for a long time, and I still sell cars now just by appointment only. And I had kind of heard of YouTube, Turo. I'd kind of heard of Turo just off YouTube videos and stuff, but I don't know. I'd never, and I thought I'd be great at it because I know how to buy these cars right. And, I love it. Actually, it's weird. I like cleaning cars. And I just never had the courage to do it. And one day I had a guest that walked into my dealership, which is Blue Springs Ford. And he was wanting to look at a red Dodge Charger. And I'm like, what are you going to do with this Dodge Charger? He's like, man, I'm going to rent it out. And I'm like, oh, through the Turo or whatever? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, and I just started picking his brain, like, how does that work and everything else. And
Yeah.
I kid you not, before that car was even sold, I knew that my next sell was going to be to myself because I was going to get a Turo car. So I started with one car. It was a Ford Escape 2022. And I listed on the platform, and the thing had immediate success. I'm talking like, I put it on, and then 2 hours later, like the next 3 weeks were booked out. And like, okay, I'm definitely
Wow.
underpriced,
Yeah.
So I raised the price a little bit, and that one car just blew up. And I was, okay, I got to figure out a way to get more of these cars. So my next car was a little 2014 Toyota Corolla that I paid cash for. And that car did almost as well as the Escape because I realized with these rental cars, a lot of people that's renting a car, they're doing it because they have a car problem. Either their car's broke down, it's in the shop, or maybe sometimes I've even got long-term renters that just don't have the means to buy a car. So that cheap car, I just saw immediate success with. People just need an A to B car as cheap and as efficient as possible. So I
Yeah.
doubled down on that. I got a little Mazda 3, a 2012 Mazda 3 that I also paid cash for. That did extremely well. And then I got the Bronco. I ordered that Bronco, and that took a couple months to arrive. But yeah, I ordered the Bronco, and then I started telling everybody what I was doing, and everyone got fascinated by this idea of renting cars out. And I just kind of came to the conclusion, I'm like, why don't I just rent these cars out for other people? Like they
Yeah.
know that I know what I'm doing, and it can be a passive income for them if I do all the work and I just take a little cut out of the net profit. So from there, we got 4 of other people's cars. I say OPC, other people's cars, and we got 3 more coming within the week. So
Wow.
yeah, it's just a growing business, and I used Turo initially, and I still use Turo, but Turo takes a lot of, and they should, they're providing the platform, the customers, um, the insurance, so they take a pretty good cut out of the profit. So I was like, I need to find a way because a lot of these renters they love the service. I mean, I will literally go. I've delivered cars at 2 o'clock in the morning, especially those repeat renters and stuff. I was like, I need to find a way to cut Turo completely out of this thing. So I built a website and I found a good CPA that helped me with my taxes and all that kind of stuff. And we just really grew this thing. And now I'm mostly private. I do still use Turo a little bit um, just to get that 100% utilization rate
Yeah.
because that's big in the rental car space. You can have all these cars, but if they're setting, you're not making
Right.
no money. And especially if they're financed, then you're losing money. I've only got a
Right.
couple that's financed, but yeah. So
Yeah, that's awesome. So I mean, you really launched it on the Turo platform, and now we've kind of created a competitor of Turo, right? I mean, in the local
Turo is
market,
honestly my
anyways.
biggest competitor, which I still
Yeah.
use them. Turo's been great,
Yeah.
and I don't plan on not using them anytime soon. So, but
Yeah.
it's more of a backup thing. So with private, all they have to have is full coverage auto insurance, and then when they book the car on the website, it sends them a contract. Um, just expectations, policies, any additional charges that could come. And then they submit their driver's license and auto insurance. I call the auto insurance, just verify it is full coverage, and let them know they're going to be renting a car, and off they go. So
Yeah.
it
That's
saves the
awesome.
customer money, and then it also makes us a little bit more money. So, if a customer rents out a car, let's say for $50 a day, between the Turo insurance, Turo fees, that car is actually about $105 a day. So I got to find that sweet spot, and they're also going to charge me a little bit of that cut too. So if the car's $50 a day, I'm only going to make about 40 a day, and they're paying north of 100 a day. So now private, I'm going to rent it for 75 a day. I'm making more, and I'm saving the customer money. So everybody
Yeah.
wins, and we're all happy. And
There you
also
go.
too, it's less of a risk for the customer. So if something does happen, the Turo deductible is usually $3,000, whereas with their personal insurance, most people have a $500 to $1,000 deductible. So the out of pocket, if something does happen, which it's inevitable, it will at some point when you get enough of these, when you do this long enough. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah, anybody that watches the exotic rentals that are out in Las Vegas, I think those things are getting wrecked every day. It's a little bit of a different situation in a
yeah,
different town, but those things get absolutely destroyed on a regular
yeah.
basis.
Well, and
You-
there's certain cars that I avoid. I don't mess
Yeah.
with high end cars, no sports cars, nothing. We're low end economy cars, luxury cars, full size cars, but no sports cars for that reason only.
I hear you. I hear you on that one for sure. Well, you're definitely doing this at a right time, especially with how popular Kansas City seems to have become in the last 3 or 4 years, and obviously it seems like we're keeping that momentum going as we get into the World Cup and everything like that. So a ton of tourists are obviously going to be here. They're going to need ways to get around. Obviously, we're making good progress on the streetcar stuff like that, but they're going to want to go see other parts of Kansas City, and you can't do it
Yeah,
without a car, right?
no,
So,
and it's crazy that you say that. So on tour, I'm a power host, so they give me all the inside information. Well, not just me specifically, but all the power hosts. We get inside information, and they had sent out a thing. I think it was a week or two ago. Kansas City was the number 6 city in the U.S. for growth for Turo growth.
wow.
So out of all the cities in the U.S., now that's not saying we are number 6, total, but just in
Right.
growth alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's huge. And actually, a couple of the cars that I rent out is from Florida. So I rent out a car for Robbie Robinson. He plays for the Inter Miami. He plays with
Yeah,
Messi, and
that's
he
awesome.
he sent me his car out from Miami because Miami is such an oversaturated market that there's more hosts than they have renters, which is crazy because Miami is this huge booming city. But I'm renting his two cars out for almost $20 to $30 a day more than what he could in Miami
Wow.
because and
So
also too
saturated. Yeah.
yeah, it not only that, but he didn't have the customer or the clientele to go private like I already have. So I'm like, dude, stop messing with that. Just send it to me and let me do all the work for you.
Yeah. Right. Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, cool, Blake. Well, let's put the business aside for a second. Obviously, yeah, this is your brainchild here for the last couple of years at least, right? That you've been doing this. But I'm going to ask you to set that aside. I'm going to ask you to set the car sales aside. And who is Blake Jennings? Give us the elevator pitch about who you are.
Yeah. So, the big thing, I want people to know about me is I am a dad. I've got a girl that'll be 2 years old.
Ah,
Um,
cute.
yeah, love spending time with her. I'm a huge sports junkie. I mean, I have been riding with the Chiefs back when we were 2-14 in the Todd
There you
Haley
go.
era.
Heck yeah.
My parents had season tickets. I had season tickets, so I went to all the games. Loved going to concerts. Loved spending time with friends. And I'll be honest with you, it's a fault of mine, but I am kind of a workaholic. I love working. I just enjoy it. I love to work. I'm not like a real big hunt and fish guy and all that stuff. Don't ask me to. I'm definitely not a handyman, so you don't want me doing any of that stuff. So I mean, you can tell these hands, they don't get dirty.
Just paper
But
cuts, huh?
yeah, no, but I love football, and I love learning. Every time I'm in the gym, I'm always listening to an audio book. I love Audible. I don't know why listening for me is how things click. So I can retain things better from listening to it than I can reading it.
Yeah.
So I love learning. I don't listen to a ton of music because I feel like that takes away from the opportunity to learn. Anytime I'm in the car and I'm driving somewhere, I'm always learning. I love learning new things, and especially as a young entrepreneur. I'm only 32, so um, I got a lot of life left, hopefully. So
Yeah.
this ain't the end of it, too. Because we just hired our first part-time employee on Monday,
Oh, that's awesome.
just a couple days ago. So hopefully I can get this thing to 30 by the end of the year. And I'd
Yeah.
like to add 2 or 3 part-time employees, just have this company clicking on all cylinders, and then it's off to starting something else. So
There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Scale it up and move on. I love it, man, for sure.
yeah,
Yeah. And I think you share a very common theme with all of our entrepreneurs that come on the show, and is that they all love work. It's
yeah,
very, well,
yeah.
some of them, it's amazing. And I love every guest that we have on the show. I'll ask some people to set aside the work and they can't, they just can't. It's like, yeah, but let me tell you, like, I get it. This is who you are. That's what you do.
Well, and
it's,
and you know,
it's
and
great.
obviously I'm money motivated, but take away the money, and I have to stay busy. Like I swear, I'm like a little bunny. I mean, I've got to just be constantly moving, sitting still. Like obviously we need those people at the Ford plant that build all of our Ford cars, but I could never do that repetitive, just A, B, C
Uh,
job. I've got to constantly just be moving, and that has helped me tremendously in my sales role, and also to starting this rental car business. So
Yeah, I love it. You're like an Energizer bunny, but instead of just going straight and
constantly,
banging on the drum, you're all over the place. I
right,
love it.
right, right,
I
right.
love it, man. I love it. Cool. So obviously, when you started B&KJ, you guys had zero social media following, right? Zero likes, zero follows, nothing that was up there. So
Zero.
tell us a little bit about kind of what that journey has been like for you, how you've utilized social media to help kind of grow the business.
Yeah, so started with nothing. All I started as was just a guy that sold cars and knows a thing or two about a car.
Yeah.
Um, Jumped on Turo, used their platform to scale. And one thing I always tell people when they ask about Turo, I always ask them, why do you want to start Turo? What's your end goal? And they'll say, I want to get 5 cars or 10 cars or whatever on Turo. I'm like, you're not thinking big enough. And they're like, what, 20? I'm like, you're still not thinking big enough. You got to get Turo out of the equation. Turo is great. It gives you the gasoline to get the car started, but you need to produce your own gasoline. That is the big picture. That's where you want to go. There's no number to it. It's you need to go private and build your own customer base, just like in sales, right? So I sell cars by appointment only now. I couldn't do that if I was always reliant on Blue Springs Ford to give me customers. I would still be in there bell to bell, 12 hours a day, chasing all the customers that walk in the building, and that old school car salesman mentality, and you've got to build your own, no matter what it is in life, whether it's sales or even if you are someone that, you want to just work that 9 to 5 for the safety and, no risk involved. You have to be able, to move up in the company. You have to be able to build your own name, your own book of business. You cannot be reliant on other people. And if you are, you're never going to get to where at least I aspire to be. And I'm sure a lot of people that come on this show. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta go find your own thing for sure, and really build that own brand, right? I mean, that's kind of what it is when you kind of look at that like 9 to 5 world, or even with Turo, right? If you look at kind of where Turo came from, and I haven't done a lot of research into the history of Turo, but unless they were funded, they probably started off very similarly to B&KJ Rentals, right? I mean, it was,
yeah.
and it's stepping stones, and now they've obviously got the marketing to back up what they're doing and get the name out there, I think, which is where they really have kind of cornered the market as of right now. Is everybody knows Turo now, where I took a trip to Portland, I want to say, gosh, must have been 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, and my wife found it on social media. It's like we were looking at car rentals. I think it was like right after COVID, the car rentals they were more expensive. I mean, it was like $150 or something like
Well, you
that for
couldn't
like a
find them
Honda
too.
Civic. Yeah, it was disgusting. I mean, it was gross. So we were looking at other options. I think she found it through social media. And I think they were relatively unheard of at that time. I mean, obviously people were using it, but I don't think it was like kind of a national widespread thing yet. But as people started to use it, and we had a great experience with it, right? We went to Portland, we rented a Jaguar. It was fantastic, right? I mean, it was easy. We got a much nicer car than we would have gotten from Enterprise for a very reasonable price, especially compared to what the prices were at the time. So, but I say all that to say, that's to grow, right? We have to be able to get the name out there and then have a good product where people are also going to generate content for you, right? I'm now an advocate for Turo because I had a great experience, right? I'm sure your customers that rent from B&KJ are advocates for B&KJ because they've had fantastic experiences. So when we think about social media and marketing, I think a lot of people think about it from a very one-sided perspective of what can I do, right? But it's also how can we get our fans engaging with our content and really building that brand for us as well, right? As they have good experiences and not even really with reviews, but just word of mouth. I mean, social media is kind of that new word of mouth, right? Is, hey, we here's me and the Jaguar in Portland, right? And here we are on the coast, right? And I rented this car through Turo, right? I mean, it's or how'd you get a Jaguar, right? It's, oh, we got it through Turo.com, right? It's little things like that I think people overlook when it comes to the social media game. But
yeah, and I honestly think that Turo and the private rental space completely, they're gonna do to Hertz Enterprise. They're gonna do what Uber and Lyft did to the cab service because one, it's cheaper. Two, Enterprise Hertz, they're not going to deliver to you at 11 o'clock at night, midnight. You have to get there between 9 to 5. And guess what? When you get there, the guy that drives an F-350, well, here's your Prius. It's all we got available. You can choose your car, how you get it, when you get it, better price, better customer service. It's just the Enterprise Hertz and stuff, they won't be, in my opinion anyways, I don't see them being around for much longer. And if
I would agree with
you, strictly be for insurance purposes. So
yeah, that or they'll switch their model, right? It's an adapt or die at this point. I think is kind of what they're looking at. Either go with kind of private cars and make it fun and take your piece or whatever, or move on, get out, find something else for sure.
100%. Yep.
No, I love that you're delivering cars too. I think that recently we just went to Florida. Actually, we rented from Turo again. Come to think of it, but we did like the keyless entry deal,
Yep.
right? Which was a big deal. I mean, we went with a car that was honestly not as nice as the one we were gonna get because it had she was gonna leave it at the airport. The key was gonna be in it. She could unlock it remotely, right? We showed up, we put our bags in, and we left, right?
It's super
Which is really
simple.
cool. Yeah,
You
but
know,
I love that. So you're hand delivering everything. I mean, you're bringing it out, you're dropping it off, and then
yeah. Well, I always let the customer choose. So if they
okay,
want it delivered, depending on where it's delivering to, there is an added fee to that, or
sure.
they can just come pick it up as well. So whatever's easiest for them, we'll make it happen one way or another.
I love
But
it.
yep.
I love it. I love it. Cool. So I'm going to ask you to put the business aside. Well, kind of aside. I'm going to ask you to share with us your defining moment, not only when it comes to your career. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too, but also your life as well.
Yeah. So definitely when my daughter was born, that was definitely my defining moment.
Yeah.
So, in car sales, obviously it's long hours, 12-hour days. And I only lasted like 4 or 5 months. And then that's when that's what gave me the passion to start something else. Cause, I still wanted to obviously make, good money, but I wanted something where I could be more available.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because with the business now, it's like I'm always available, but I'm never available. Like you want to go to spontaneous lunch, like let's go. But I just,
Yeah.
duty always calls. But again, hopefully, as I continue to add team members and stuff, there'll be a chance for me to, take vacations and stuff because obviously you need that reset. But yeah, my defining moment in life was having her, and it's so crazy, like when they come out of the womb or whatever, it's like I created this, and it's just like I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of a selfish person. I've always been a little selfish, and for once it wasn't always about me anymore. Like now
Yeah.
it's all about her, and what can I do to be the best at it, for her. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I know that bleeds over to the career as well, obviously, right? That was
right.
that kind of decision. So absolutely. That's awesome, man. Now, like villains have attributes as well as heroes. What do you think the difference is, right? What do you think are the attributes that really define what a hero is versus a villain?
Yeah, for a hero, I always think that you just got to do the right thing when no one's watching, and a hero is someone that can obviously achieve anything while also um, being just a good, honest person and being able to. And one thing that I always like is people that can handle adversity and still be at the top of their game. Like no matter what's going on in life, right? Like no matter what life throws at you, when you see that person, you would never know, because it's kind of like that fake it till you make it, mindset. You just got to keep pounding pavement, keep grinding, and always do the right thing. One thing I will never, ever, ever do as a business owner is try to get one over on somebody. That's just not a way to conduct business, and you're not going to grow a business by taking advantage of people. To
Yeah.
continue to get them to come back, you got to take care of them. You got to provide excellent, excellent customer service, because I can tell you my prices now aren't the best prices. I mean, they're competitive, obviously, but now, like when you look at my cars compared to other cars, they are a little bit more, but they know that they're going to get that service in return.
Yeah.
100%. They know they're going to get, there's a reason why people pay more for a Rolex than a Citizen or a Gucci bag over, just some random Macy's bag. It's because of the quality. And
Yeah. The
just always
experience.
doing,
Yeah.
always doing the right thing. I think it really goes a long way. And like I said, that person that can always still get it done, show up, great attitude, positive attitude, because I always want to have a positive attitude to rub off on people. I want it to almost be contagious,
Yeah.
like everyone thinks COVID was contagious. I want to be the COVID, just a positive attitude.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, I think to your point, like Starbucks doesn't sell coffee, right? I mean, you're going for the Starbucks experience, right? I mean, it's the coffee.
100%.
You can get Starbucks coffee and make it at home for a whole lot cheaper, right? But you choose to
Yeah.
go into the store for the experience and also convenience, right? I mean, there's things that you're paying for that aren't coffee, right? You can get coffee
Right.
anywhere. It's not why you're
Well,
going to Starbucks, right?
and like if you look at any business anymore, it doesn't matter what it is. It's like a race to the bottom, as far as price goes.
Yeah.
I'm not racing to the bottom in price. I'm racing to the top in service. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
That's what I want. So,
Yeah, give them that quality. Absolutely, absolutely. So you can keep the price high, right? I mean, that's
right.
you know, you're gonna deliver a luxury service. It's gonna be at a luxury price for sure.
Right, 100%.
Now, Blake, this is the one that hangs quite a few of our guests up. If you had to pick any superhero that you most related to, that most related to Blake Jennings, who would that superhero be and why?
It's not really a superhero, but there is an entrepreneur. He's very well known, and it's Grant Cardone.
Yeah,
I don't know if you know a lot of his story,
10x,
but
baby. Yeah.
10x baby. No, he at 25 years old, he battled addiction,
Yeah.
and in my past, I've been in and out of never drugs. I have a very obsessive and addictive personality,
Yeah.
so I never really let myself do any drugs because I knew that could, I just know how I am and how I'm wired and how that could end up. But I have battled that over the years, and what he has done with his life. He also started in car sales, just like myself. He got into the rental space, obviously with real estate, and I'm more on the auto sales. But I'm going to get. I'm looking to grow a real estate portfolio this year, actually. But yeah, it's not really a superhero. Like I said, man, I always like to learn and grow, and I was kind of a weird, different kid. At 7, 8 years old, kids are watching, the cartoons and, Batman and Spider-Man. And I was watching NFL games. I was a huge Brett Favre fan growing up. That was my
Yeah.
guy.
The
I always tell
gunslinger.
people,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that's back to that thing that I was telling you, Brett Favre had the most consecutive starts. Didn't matter what. I mean, his dad died, and the guy went in there and played that same night. Or
Broken
maybe it was the next
thumb. Doesn't matter. Yeah, he was there.
legend.
Showed up.
Now,
Yeah.
I'm not condoning some of the stuff he's done off the field here recently, but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
growing up. But
Hey,
yeah,
Mississippi education, man. On Mississippi. I mean, did he know? Hopefully he
yeah,
did. I'm in the camp of I just hope he didn't know what he was actually
yeah.
doing. Jeez.
So
But
I
yeah,
don't mean
on the
to,
field.
yeah. So I don't mean to cheat on your question and not cheat
No,
on
I
his
love it.
question.
That's a great answer. That's a very original answer. I'll tell you that. That's one that I haven't heard, but I love your reasoning behind it as well. I mean, that's a true entrepreneurial story, right? And he did it in a way that a lot of people aren't doing it, right? So
Yeah, and what he did with real estate is literally what I'm doing with cars. He uses other people's money that is invested into Cardone Capital, and he's used other people's money to help them build a real estate portfolio, and they're partners. And that's kind of what I've done with on the car side of things. And
yeah.
we've just got similar stories. Hopefully, I might be able to taste some of the same, long-term success. I don't know, so, but I'm going to keep pounding pavement though until hopefully it happens.
Hey, that's all you can do, man. That's all we can do is just keep on moving forward, right? Blake, man,
100%.
thank you for coming on the show. You've been absolutely awesome. How can people get a hold of you? How can they rent a car from you? How can they check it out? Tell their friends about you. Where can they find you?
Yeah, so the website, bkjrental.com. My LinkedIn page, you can find me on my LinkedIn, Facebook. It's all just Blake Jennings. Call me, text me. I don't care. 816-409-7718. I am always available. I'm not always available for a call, though. You may want to just text me. But, yeah, I'm always available, always, can be reached. And I'm here to help people out. If you've got a car problem, I'll help you solve it. Either I'm going to sell you one, I'm going to rent you one, or if I've got to be an Uber driver, I'll hop in and I'll take you to wherever you need to go. Like, let's go, So
If you need a ride, call Blake. Either way, we'll
yeah,
get you
yeah,
there.
yeah. We'll help you get it figured out. It'll be much cheaper than using Enterprise Hertz. If you're looking to buy a car, I'll make sure that you're taken care of in that space too. So I work for Blue Springs Ford. If you're not a Ford person, we also own Lee Summit Subaru and Honda. And then we just bought a couple of other dealerships up in Smithville and the Buckner in Buckner, Missouri. We took that one over. So we're rapidly growing there. So you can find me there sometimes too. Don't just pop in. You'll have to set an appointment.
He won't be there.
Yeah. Unless I'm working with somebody else, But it's by appointment only.
That's awesome. Well, Blake, thanks again for coming on the show, man. You're absolutely awesome.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, are we still live? Hey guys, we're still live. Hey guys, this is Kevin Kwok, founder of J29 Creative Group. So who are we? We're a marketing agency here in Kansas City. We're all about a holistic approach to marketing that builds your brand and nurtures online community. But to be honest with you, you guys don't care.